And good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ken McLeod in the CBSN studios. We are right now tracking a really crazy and breaking story in Winthrop right now at the corner of Cross Street and Shirley Street. Our chopper is just getting over the scene right now. We are getting confirmation from authorities that at least 3 people have been shot there. This all began to unfold about an hour and 45 minutes ago. Our I-team is telling us that 2 of the people who have been shot are dead. Let's try to sort out the circumstances here as police try to do that very same thing. Our Lisa Gresci has been on the ground there for some time. She was one of the first reporters on scene. Lisa, what can you tell us about what began this whole thing?
Ken, as you said, right now, what we have confirmed is at least 3 people were shot. 2 of them are dead. And where I'm standing right now is a little further away from the scene right up there at Shirley Street and Cross Street. Police say it all started as a call for an accident involving this truck you see here. Neighbors say it smashed into another car before hitting and leveling that home you see there. They say they heard gunshots soon after the man who they thought was driving that truck got out. Right now, we know that other people were shot here, including that suspect who had life-threatening injuries. Authorities are not releasing much more on these conditions at this time. Police say a police officer was also taken to the hospital to be checked out. That officer was not seriously injured. They pushed us back quite a bit because, Ken, they have to start clearing the scene, and a lot of people have been out here, a lot of neighbors trying to piece together exactly what had happened, because a lot of the neighbors actually heard the huge commotion, the crash, and then they heard the gunshots. We've been dealing with crowds all afternoon here. Police say that this really started to go down around 2:40 this afternoon, and that's when neighbors started coming out of their homes as well, trying to piece together all of this information. But as we can tell you right now, what we have confirmed is that 3 people have been shot. At least 2 of them are dead, and we have another police officer who was taken to the hospital to be evaluated. And that's where it stands right now. A lot of this is still unfolding. We have a smashed up car a little further away, a silver SUV, and we have this truck clearly here that smashed through and leveled that home. Neighbors fearing for the person that lives in that home. Were they home? They don't know at this time, and everyone is really trying to figure out how this all started and why this accident seemingly turned to gunfire, Ken.
And there's the critical point, Lisa. I mean, let's go back to the truck now, because the crash was reported at about 2:40 this afternoon, and the neighbors you've been speaking with, and I know you have spoken with several, indicated that the gunfire came soon after that. We are hearing unconfirmed reports that the truck was stolen. Do you have any information on that?
Ken, that's also what we're hearing here at the scene. Neighbors are saying that that truck may have been stolen, and that's why it was speeding down Shirley Street and crashed here right where Shirley meets Cross Street. And there is another very damaged car here, Ken. It's a silver SUV. It's completely smashed through all the way through to the back of that SUV. It's a little bit up the road at this point. And a kid actually who lived in that home came out, about 15 years old. He came out and he saw that there was a crash. Then he heard the gunshots, and he actually told us that there were people ducking at that time from the gunfire. So at this point, everyone's trying to piece together how the crash turned into the gunfire. And right now, there are reports, unconfirmed reports, that the truck may have been stolen.
Okay, and we don't know what the involvement of the other vehicle is. We just know that it was somehow involved in the crash. Okay, let's go back to the truck then. Did all the folks that you have spoken with, do they seem to believe that the gunfire began with the driver of that truck? Was it the man who got out of that truck, or is that something we just haven't established yet?
That's what neighbors are saying. That is not yet confirmed exactly how this all happened. But one neighbor did tell me that he spoke with a man that spoke to the driver right after he had crashed into that home and asked him if he was okay. And then the driver allegedly ran from there, and that's when the gunfire started. So that's what we're trying to figure out, Ken, is exactly how this went from a crash into a car, a crash into a home, and then people being shot.
Okay, so the neighbor spoke to the driver of that truck and asked him if he was okay, and that driver did not respond. He instead just turned and ran.
just kept going, Ken, that's right, and ran away. And at that point, that's when things seemingly, from everything that I'm hearing from neighbors, got a little bit more hectic, and that's when they heard the gunshots.